Monday Night Raw debuted on January 11th, 1993 in the Manhattan Center in front of what had to be at the most 800 people. It started at 1 hour and would be far from what it would become years later. This is a TV show that's been going non-stop for 24 years, and even at its lowest moments, like the mid-90s and now, it's been a staple of professional wrestling for what seems like a very long time now. And whatever state or mindset the company is in, it will be reflected most on this show. So what went wrong? How did we get to a show that once was a captivating program everyone couldn't wait for the next week, end up becoming the symbol of everything wrong with the WWE and wrestling as a whole? First, let's get the most obvious complaint out of the way. 3 hours. On August 4th, 1997, WCW did the first ever 3-hour episode of Monday Nitro that saw Lex Luger beat the long-reigning champion Hogan for the title to a massive pop. WCW, which at this point was crushing in the ratings against Raw at this point, went to 3 hours ever since. Now, while Nitro would continue to beat Raw in the ratings for another 8 months, you could see the episodes were starting to drag. But to say that was the biggest reasons for why WCW started losing 8 months later would be an unfair statement, as the Starrcade debacle with Sting and Hogan happened with the slow count that wasn't actually a slow count, thanks Hogan, and with the NWA angle running stale, that's what would also drive viewers away, along of course with what Austin, Rock, Mankind, and even what DX were doing at the time. But more so, WCW was thriving in 96 and 97. Bischoff was on top of the world, and complacency started to kick in. Nitro started feeling like it was going on autopilot, like, we've already won the war, why bother trying? And thus, let's fast forward to March of 2001, because I think we know who won that little war there. Vince McMahon wins, Austin sides with Vince at Mania X7, and slowly but surely the effort put forth was slowly fading. It went from what made the fans happy, and instead what would make Vince happy. WCW and ECW stars like DDP, Booker T, and Taz being treated like second-class citizens and jokes, it weren't right. It weren't right for business at all. But it's what made Vince happy. If Jericho came along in 2001, you think they would have still produced one of the greatest debuts in wrestling history and launched a future multi-time world champion in the process? Highly doubt it, as even at that time, Jericho was not received well at all by the company when he first came in, because he was the enemy. But yeah, it stopped becoming about doing everything you can to appease the fans, because they didn't have to anymore. And so by the end of the 2000s, ratings went down, business started going slightly down, UFC became really popular, which made it even worse, but they were still the big empire. They were still the WWE. And then the network thing happened. And then the Daniel Bryan outcry happened. And the CM Punk situation happened, and the WWE really started putting forth the effort once they were in jeopardy of losing money, as profit went down drastically due to the networks starting. But now, thanks to perseverance, which is Vince's best and worst aspect all at once, WWE started booming in business again. Ratings, not so much. Raw has become the symbol of the biggest problem with the WWE, and specifically Vince, in my opinion, complacency. Monday Night Raw is uninspired, boring, and it just feels, at times, absolutely lifeless. Same 15-minute promos from authority figures to start off Raw. Blasé backstage interviews with wooden delivery and with blasé presentation. With the brand split, Raw had a great first night to kick it off, but shortly afterwards fell into complacency right then. While SmackDown, a show that Vince and Kevin Dunn never thought of as an equal to Raw, and that they would never monitor nearly as much, had more creative freedom, and more so, they had the drive to prove that they're not just Raw's inferior little brother. They're not the bitch show. So SmackDown became edgy, exciting, and most importantly, something different. When I watched this segment with Kathy Lee Hoda dancing with Adam Rose on Monday Night Raw, late 2014, that's when I officially stopped really watching Raw, or even fast-forwarding through it. I can't properly explain just how badly that scarred me for life. It just drained me so badly, because I realized, this is what they've become. They don't care about what we want. Why should I still give them my time of day if they don't care about ours? Especially since I work now, I have no time to care about this horse shit. Also, once Styles and Becky went to SmackDown, I really stopped watching clips on YouTube as well. The Braun Strowman ambulance thing one I had to watch, because that shit spread like wildfire. Mostly because it was something different. It was awesome! They didn't half-ass it like they do with everything else. They went full-on beast mode with Braun, and now he's probably the most over star in WWE right now. Braun Strowman is white hot right now, and that segment plays a big factor in it. Raw, for the most part, just isn't ambitious enough. Even segments that are awful, like the Enzo and Lana thing with the room and Enzo, I don't know, cheating on whatever. I don't know what that was. But you know what? It put a smile on my face because at least they have put more effort into that. There's at least some effort put into that, some creativity, other than, you know, Stephanie will talk, and then Roman will interrupt her and read a lame script. And then she'll put him in a tag match. Fucking exhilarating. Being ridiculously bad is much better than being boring. I have learned that. If it's just boring, people will just stop caring. Say what you will about Katie Vick and Mae Young birthing a hand and Snitsky punting a fake baby that was supposed to be Lita and Kane's baby. And yeah, those were bad. Those were really bad. But at least you'll fucking remember that shit. At least it got a reaction out of you that wasn't just a big long yawn. I can honestly say with no hyperbole whatsoever that I would rather watch a 3-disc set on the best of Mantar than watch Stephanie take 20 minutes to talk about something that should have only taken 3 minutes. I can't do it. At this point, it doesn't seem like they're going to learn. They're doing good business, and until they stop doing good business, Raw is dead.